In the quiet town of Ravenswood, a family moved into an old, decrepit mansion on the outskirts of town. Unbeknownst to them, the house had a dark history, whispered about by the locals. As they settled in, strange occurrences began to plague the family, setting the stage for the horror that was about to unfold. At night, shadows moved through the halls of the mansion, their forms unnatural and menacing. The family dismissed these sightings as mere imagination, but the shadows grew bolder, creeping into their rooms and leaving an overwhelming sense of dread in their wake. Whispers echoed through the empty corridors, their words indecipherable yet filled with malice. Family members woke in the dead of the night, convinced they heard their names being called in a ghostly voice. The once cozy home now felt suffocating, its walls seemingly closing in on them. Apparitions appeared, flickering into view and then vanishing with an eerie glow. The family caught glimpses of specters in old-fashioned clothing, their eyes empty voids of despair. The children, initially curious, grew terrified of their own home, avoiding certain rooms where the apparitions seemed to linger. A bone-chilling cold permeated the house, regardless of the season. No amount of heating could dispel the icy tendrils that wrapped around anyone who dared to venture into certain areas. Even in the midst of summer, the rooms held a frigid atmosphere, making it impossible to find comfort within the mansion's walls. Objects began to move on their own accord. Plates flew off shelves, chairs toppled over without warning, and books slammed shut as if guided by an unseen force. The family tried to rationalize these events, blaming faulty wiring and drafty windows, but deep down, they knew something far more sinister was at play. Family members started having disturbing dreams, all featuring a gaunt figure cloaked in darkness. The figure whispered promises of eternal suffering and despair, its hollow eyes filled with an otherworldly hunger. Each night, the dreams became more vivid, seeping into waking hours, blurring the line between nightmare and reality. Symbols etched in blood-red paint appeared on the walls, cryptic and foreboding. The family discovered occult markings hidden beneath layers of wallpaper, symbols of a dark ritual that had once taken place within those very walls. As they tried to erase the markings, they found them reappearing overnight, as if the house itself resisted their attempts to cleanse it. The whispers grew louder, taking on a demonic tone that sent shivers down the family's spines. The words spoke of ancient curses and vengeful spirits, promising eternal torment to anyone who dared to inhabit the house. Desperation settled in as the family realized they were not dealing with a mere haunting but something far more malevolent. Fearing for their safety, the family called in paranormal investigators, hoping for answers and a way to rid themselves of the malevolent presence. The investigators, armed with an array of ghost-hunting gadgets, ventured into the house, their skepticism slowly replaced by terror as they witnessed objects moving without explanation and heard voices from the ethereal realm. Through extensive research, the investigators unveiled the dark past of the house. It was revealed that a cult had once occupied the mansion, performing unspeakable rituals in a bid to open a gateway to the underworld. The leader of the cult, a man obsessed with dark arts, had vanished mysteriously, leaving behind a curse that lingered within the very foundation of the house. In an attempt to communicate with the spirits, the investigators conducted a séance. They lit candles and joined hands, calling out to the other side. At first, there was silence, but then the room grew icy cold, and a spectral figure materialized in their midst. The figure, the long-lost cult leader, snarled in rage, blaming the living for disturbing his eternal rest. During the séance, one of the investigators was possessed by the vengeful spirit of the cult leader. His eyes turned a deep shade of red, and his voice became a guttural growl. The possessed investigator spoke in ancient tongues, uttering curses and prophecies of doom. The others struggled to break the possession, their efforts met with violent resistance from the malevolent entity. With the possessed investigator growing stronger, the team sought the help of a seasoned exorcist. Armed with holy relics and ancient prayers, the exorcist delved into the heart of the haunting. The entity resisted fiercely, hurling furniture and shrouding the room in darkness. The exorcism became a battle of wills. The forces of light pitted against the darkness of the underworld. In a burst of blinding light, the exorcist finally managed to banish the vengeful spirit from the possessed investigator. The room fell silent, the oppressive atmosphere lifting for the first time in months. The investigators and the family members, exhausted and emotionally drained, realized that the battle was far from over, but they had gained a momentary respite. The investigators discovered a cursed relic hidden within the house, a sacrilegious artifact used by the cult in their rituals. The relic pulsed with unholy energy, its presence corrupting the very air around it. Realizing that destroying the relic was the key to breaking the curse, the investigators embarked on a perilous journey to find a way to neutralize its malevolent power. Guided by ancient texts, the investigators devised a forbidden ritual to neutralize the cursed relic. The ritual required a delicate balance of light and darkness, drawing upon the power of both to counteract the artifact's evil aura. As they chanted the incantations and performed the ritual, the house shook with fury, its very foundation rebelling against the attempt to cleanse its tainted soul. In a blinding explosion of light, the relic shattered into 1,000 pieces. The malevolent energy dissipated, leaving the investigators and the family members gasping for breath. It seemed for a moment that the curse had been broken, that the house had other plans. It retaliated with a final, desperate onslaught of paranormal activity, as if angered by the loss of its corrupted heart. Doors slammed shut, trapping the investigators and the family members in different parts of the mansion. Furniture levitated, swirling in a chaotic dance of poltergeist activity. The walls groaned, and the very ground trembled beneath their feet. It was as if the house itself had come alive, its wrath unleashed in a torrent of supernatural fury. In a moment of selflessness, one of the family members, possessed by a newfound determination, sacrificed themselves to appease the house's wrath. With a final prayer, they faced the full brunt of the supernatural onslaught, shielding the others from the house's fury. Their sacrifice created a brief opening, allowing the investigators to perform a final, desperate ritual to cleanse the house once and for all. Gathering all their strength, the investigators chanted the incantations of the final ritual. The words resonated with ancient power, echoing through the mansion's halls. The house fought back, its malevolent energy surging against the ritual's cleansing force. The very air crackled with tension as the battle between light and darkness reached its climax. In a blinding burst of pure light, the ritual reached its peak. The house shrieked, its walls trembling as if in agony. The malevolent presence, bound to the cursed relic for centuries, was torn apart, banished to the darkest corners of the spiritual realm. The mansion, once a bastion of evil, stood cleansed and free from the supernatural taint that had plagued it for generations. With the curse lifted, the mansion became still. The once haunted halls were silent, and the atmosphere, once heavy with malevolence, lightened. The family members and investigators, although scared by their ordeal, felt a profound sense of relief. Ravenswood, no longer overshadowed by the mansion's dark past, embraced a newfound peace. The tale of the haunted house became a cautionary legend, a story parents whispered to their children to teach them the importance of bravery in the face of fear. The family members and investigators, although forever changed by their experience, found solace in the knowledge that they had confronted and overcome true evil. Their story served as a beacon of hope for others facing supernatural threats, reminding them that even the darkest nightmares could be vanquished with courage and determination. In the years that followed, the investigators compiled their experiences into a series of paranormal chronicles. Their books became bestsellers, detailing the horrors they had faced and the rituals they had performed to combat malevolent entities. Their expertise garnered worldwide recognition, and they became sought-after experts in the field of paranormal research, helping others battle supernatural forces and find solace in the face of the unknown. Despite the cleansing of the mansion, potential homebuyers approached the property with caution. Its dark history still lingered in the town's memory, dissuading all but the most daring from considering it as a residence. The mansion, once a symbol of opulence, stood empty, its halls echoing with the whispers of the past. Occasionally, late at night, passers-by claimed to hear faint whispers coming from the mansion's windows. Some believed it to be the wind playing tricks on their ears, while others insisted that it was the lost souls of the past occupants, trapped between realms. Regardless of the truth, the mansion's reputation as a haunted house endured, its legend woven into the fabric of Ravenswood's history. One of the investigators, haunted by the memories of the haunted house, carried a deep sense of regret. They questioned whether they had done enough, whether there was more they could have done to help the family and the tortured spirits within the mansion. The investigators' nights were plagued by nightmares, each one a reminder of the horrors they had witnessed. Years later, a member of the family who had once lived in the haunted house returned to Ravenswood. They claimed to have heard a distressing call in their dreams, a plea for help from the spirits they had left behind. Determined to set things right, they ventured into the mansion, armed with knowledge passed down through generations and a heart full of courage. Inside the mansion, the family member encountered residual hauntings, echoes of the past imprinted on the very fabric of the building. They witnessed scenes from the house's dark history, feeling the pain and despair of the spirits trapped within the residual energy. Undeterred, they continued deeper into the mansion, guided by an otherworldly force. In the mansion's heart, the family member encountered the restless spirits of the cult members who had once occupied the house. These spirits, tormented by their past actions, revealed the truth behind the cult's rituals and the malevolent entity they had sought to unleash. The family member listened, their heart heavy with empathy for the lost souls. Driven by compassion, the family member performed a ritual of redemption, guiding the spirits toward peace and forgiveness. The ritual was a beacon of light within the darkness, breaking the cycle of torment that had bound the spirits to the mansion. One by one, the spirits found solace and moved on, their anguished cries fading into whispers of gratitude. With the redemption of the spirits, the mansion seemed to sigh in relief. Its walls, once heavy with the weight of sorrow, now radiated a sense of tranquility. The family member, their purpose fulfilled, left the mansion with a newfound sense of closure. The haunted house, once a place of fear, had finally found rest, its troubled spirits released from their eternal torment. In the attic of the mansion, hidden beneath a pile of dusty old books, the family member discovered a diary belonging to the cult leader. The diary contained detailed accounts of the rituals performed within the mansion, as well as the cult leader's descent into madness. It shed light on the origins of the malevolent entity and the desperation that had driven the cult to unleash such darkness upon the world. As the family member delved deeper into the diary's pages, they unearthed a final revelation, a prophecy foretelling the return of the malevolent entity. The prophecy spoke of a celestial alignment, a convergence of cosmic forces that would grant the entity unparalleled power. The family member realized that the battle was far from over, and the haunted house's darkest secret was yet to be revealed. The celestial alignment, described in the diary, drew near. The night sky was painted with hues of crimson and indigo, signaling the imminent convergence of cosmic forces. The town of Ravenswood, unaware of the impending danger, went about its daily routine, oblivious to the supernatural threat that loomed over their very existence. As the celestial convergence reached its peak, the malevolent entity returned, its form more terrifying than ever. It materialized within the mansion, its presence suffocating and its eyes gleaming with ancient hatred. The entity's return sent shockwaves through the town, as if a dark cloud had settled over Ravenswood, casting a shadow upon the once peaceful community. The family member, now aware of the entity's return, tried to warn the townsfolk. They spoke of the haunted house's dark history, of the rituals and prophecies that foretold the entity's return. Some listened in fear, while others dismissed the warnings as mere superstition. The family member, undeterred by skepticism, gathered a group of brave souls willing to face the supernatural threat head-on. The brave group ventured into the mansion, armed with ancient relics and knowledge passed down through generations. They knew that the entity had to be stopped before its malevolence spread beyond the mansion's walls. The battle that ensued was fierce, the entity's power clashing against the combined strength of the group. The very foundation of the mansion trembled as the supernatural forces clashed in a struggle for dominance. In the midst of the battle, the family member uncovered a ritual of containment within the cult leader's diary. The ritual, if performed correctly, could trap the entity within a prison of eternal darkness. With the group holding back the entity's relentless assault, the family member began the ritual, chanting ancient incantations and drawing intricate symbols in the air. As the ritual reached its climax, the entity lashed out in fury, its power intensifying in a final attempt to break free. One of the brave souls, recognizing the imminent danger, made the ultimate sacrifice. With a heroic act of selflessness, they shielded the family member, allowing them to complete the ritual just in time. In a blinding flash of light, the ritual took effect. The mansion shook violently as the entity was pulled into a vortex of darkness, its roars of rage fading into distant echoes. The mansion itself seemed to exhale, its malevolent aura dissipating into the night. The brave group emerged from the battle scared but victorious, their bravery saving not only themselves but the entire town of Ravenswood. With the entity imprisoned, the family member and the brave group performed a sealing ritual on the mansion. Ancient symbols glowed on the walls, forming an impenetrable barrier that would prevent any supernatural entity from ever entering or leaving the haunted house. Ravenswood, once plagued by the mansion's curse, was finally free from its dark influence. In the aftermath of the battle, Ravenswood flourished. The town's prosperity returned, and its residents lived without the fear that had once gripped their hearts. The haunted house, now a symbol of triumph over evil, stood as a testament to the town's resilience. The family member and the brave group were hailed as heroes, their story inspiring generations to come. Although the entity was imprisoned and the haunted house sealed, echoes of the past lingered. Occasionally, on stormy nights, faint whispers could be heard, carried on the wind. Some claimed to see glimpses of shadowy figures in the mansion's windows, but these occurrences were rare and fleeting. Ravenswood, while no longer haunted, bore the scars of its dark history, a reminder of the bravery it took to banish the malevolent entity and restore peace to the once troubled town.